This video is going to be about how to properly review your collage and turn it in to make sure that you have everything you need. Don't forget, you want to make sure maybe to put some of your stuff in layers that'll help you, or sorry, to make folders for your layers. That'll help you to keep a little more organized while you're reviewing this. But here you go. So the first thing you want to make sure of is that you have a clear type of focal point. You want to make sure that something is either bigger, bolder, and brighter, or things point at it, or it is different from you would see it every day. And you can choose to do all three for extra credit. In my case, I chose to do all three. So my chrome Lamborghini is the biggest item on the screen. It is also a chrome Lamborghini, and there's only like one of three of those in the world. And as you can see, everything in my image is pointing towards it. So remember, you want to have a clear type of focal point. Number two, you want to have a clear type of balance. There is symmetrical balance where things are equal on both sides, like a mirror. There is asymmetrical balance where you have one big thing that is offset by a bunch of little things. Think of like a teeter-totter with a giant on one side and a bunch of tiny little children on the other side. The giant is large, but the tiny little children are small. So it will take like 10 children to equal one giant. So you could have asymmetrical balance, or you could have radial balance, which I chose, which is everything surrounds your focal point like the sun. So in this case, I have radial balance. All right. You will also need at least 10 images, which I have plenty of images on here cut out, at least two of them being complex, meaning it's not just a circle like these tires or a simple shape like this badge. The wording back here is pretty complex. The gentleman is complex, and my car is pretty complex. So I have three complex cutouts. You'll have to have some clear use of opacity. Remember, we talked about opacity in another video, and it needs to make sense. In this case, I wanted my car to look like it's zooming through a hole in the entire collage. So I used opacity on some of my wheels and hoods to make it look like the car was zooming through, so it makes sense. And you want to have some type of special effect. And you can see here that I have my hood, and my hood appears to be dissolving, like kind of like it's turning like a rock and dissolving. And again, to give the appearance or the illusion that the car is kind of breaking through the center of this circle. So double check that you have all this stuff. When you're ready to turn it in, you're going to go up to File, Save As. And when you go to Save As, I would like for you, again, to label this as, this will be easy for me to remember, collage dash and your last name, in which my case is Young. Make sure to save it to the folder that you've been saving the rest of your information to. Again, it depends on what style of computer, PC, laptop, or whatever you're using, but make sure you're saving to that folder we talked about earlier, and save it as a JPEG. That way, when you turn it in, most processing things that we use to grade will be able to see it. So again, you want to save it as a JPEG. So to the folder that you already created and as a JPEG, and then you're going to go ahead and hit save. In my case, I'm okay. So it's going to say, how big do you want to save it? And you wanted it as maximum file. Again, as a JPEG, it'll be pretty compressed. So save it as a large file. Boom. And that will be the way that you're going to turn it in. You'll be able to easily find it in your folder, and as a JPEG, it will be able to be turned in.